What if I told you there's a flying machine so expensive it costs more than some countries' entire annual budgets? Imagine stepping inside an aircraft worth $10 billion, that's $10,000 million, where every square inch represents more wealth than most people will see in 100 lifetimes. Starting off with an Ilyushin Il-96, $550 million. Russia's answer to Western luxury comes in the form of a $550 million Ilyushin Il-96, a flying fortress that combines Soviet engineering might with modern opulence. What makes Russian leadership worth protecting with over $500 million of aircraft? This beast represents Russian aerospace independence, refusing to rely on Western manufacturers while creating something that matches or exceeds their capabilities. The Il-96 stretches 18 feet with a wingspan of 197 feet, powered by 4 Aviad Vigatel PS-90 engines, each producing 35,600 pounds of thrust, burning 2,600 gallons of fuel per hour. That's enough to fill 100 car gas tanks. The interior features Karelian birch wood paneling, one of the world's rarest woods due to Soviet-era overharvesting, with each square foot costing $8,400, making the wood more valuable than silver by weight. But here's the crazy part. The aircraft contains spoofing radar systems and intercepting satellite signals from 200 miles away. The presidential bedroom features a bed with a frame made from titanium aircraft-grade alloy, the same material used in spacecraft, providing perfect stability even during severe turbulence, with the frame alone costing $340,000. The aircraft's range exceeds 7,500 miles, enough to fly from Moscow to Cuba without refueling, and it can operate from unpaved runways in Siberia where Western jets would destroy their engines. Germany's Airbus A340-3313, $260 million. German engineering excellence reaches its pinnacle in their $260 million Airbus A340-13, a flying masterpiece that embodies precision and power. What makes German leadership worth protecting with a $250 aircraft? This 4-engine giant represents Germany's commitment to combining safety, efficiency, and uncompromising quality in everything they build. The aircraft spans 208 feet with a wingspan of 117 feet, powered by 4 CFM56 engines that each consume 850 gallons of fuel per hour. That's more than most cars use in 6 months. The aircraft's maximum takeoff weight hits 670 pounds, yet it can land on runways as short as 7,500 feet thanks to advanced braking systems that cost $670,000 per set and need replacement every 400 landings. Egypt's Boeing 747-8i, $487 million. Egypt's pharaohs once ruled from golden palaces, and today their president commands the skies in a $487 million Boeing 747-8i that would make ancient royalty envious. Why does Egypt need an aircraft that costs more than the annual GDP of some small nations? This flying pyramid of luxury and technology serves as Egypt's mobile seat of power, capable of functioning as a complete government headquarters at 45,000 feet. The aircraft measures 250 feet in length and stands 6 stories tall, with a wingspan of 224 feet that's wider than the Sphinx is long, creating an imposing presence wherever it lands. The fuel capacity reaches 63,034 gallons, costing $220,000 to fill completely, and the aircraft burns 12,000 worth of fuel per hour during flight. Turkey's Boeing 747-8i, $500 million. Turkey's $500 million Boeing 747-8i represents where East meets West in the most luxurious way imaginable at 45,000 feet. How does Turkey justify spending $500 million on presidential transport when that could build 12 state-of-the-art hospitals? This flying palace embodies Turkey's position as a bridge between continents, featuring technology and luxury that surpasses most ground-based residences. The aircraft's dimensions are staggering, 250 feet long with a tail height equivalent to a 6-story building, powered by 4 GX-2B engines that each generate 66,500 pounds of thrust, enough to lift a locomotive. The interior showcases Ottoman-inspired design elements with mother-of-pearl inlays that took master craftsmen 22 months to complete, with materials sourced from 5 countries and costing $1.4 million. The United States Air Force One, $660 million. The most recognized aircraft in the world, America's Air Force One commands $660 million worth of technology and luxury that makes science fiction look primitive. Why does the United States spend more on presidential transport than most nations spend on their entire air force? This Boeing VC-25A isn't just an airplane. It's a flying White House, a nuclear command post, and an international symbol of American power combined into one massive machine. The aircraft measures 2,020 elephant feet long with a 105-foot wingspan, standing 6 stories tall and weighing 833,000 pounds at maximum takeoff weight. That's heavier than 120 elephants. The interior spans 4,000 square feet across 3 levels, featuring 85 telephones, 19 televisions, and enough electrical wiring to power a small town, with electromagnetic shielding that protects against nuclear EMP blasts. Here's something absolutely wild. The aircraft can refuel mid-air indefinitely, meaning Air Force One could theoretically stay airborne for days, limited only by food supplies and crew fatigue, with the refueling boom costing $4.7 million alone. The presidential suite features a bed, shower, and office that cost $890,000 to outfit. But here's the kicker. Every fixture can be completely replaced in under 90 minutes if contamination occurs, with duplicate components stored aboard. What's mind-blowing is the aircraft carries 53,611 gallons of fuel, costing $107,000 to fill completely, and can fly 7,800 miles without refueling. That's Washington, D.C. to Tokyo with fuel to spare. But here's the truly crazy part. Operating Air Force One costs $206,000 per hour, meaning a simple 5-hour flight from D.C. to Los Angeles costs $1,000 million expenses alone, not including the $350 million maintenance budget required annually to keep this beast airworthy. India's Air India One, $560 million. What makes this aircraft truly special isn't just the price tag. It's what India accomplished by customizing a commercial aircraft into a presidential fortress that rivals purpose, built government jets costing twice as much. This engineering marvel measures 242 feet in length with a wingspan of 112 feet, powered by 2 GE90 11.5B engines that each produce a staggering 11,500 pounds of thrust. The most powerful commercial jet engines ever built, capable of generating more thrust than all 4 engines of a 747 combined. The range exceeds 9,000 miles, meaning India's Prime Minister can fly non-stop from Delhi to Washington, D.C., crossing 11 time zones without refueling, burning 2,400 gallons of fuel per hour at cruising altitude. The interior represents the pinnacle of Indian craftsmanship, featuring sandalwood panels from 300-year-old trees, rosewood inlays that took master carpenters 18 months to complete, and hand-woven silk carpets created using traditional Kashmiri techniques, with interior finishings alone costing $14 million. Here's where things get absolutely insane. The aircraft features a missile approach warning system designed by India's Defense Research and Development Organization, utilizing infrared sensors that can detect missile launches from 40 miles away. Indonesia's Boeing Business Jet, $200 million, flying at 41,000 feet in what can only be described as a floating palace. Indonesia's president commands the skies in a $200 million marvel that makes most luxury penthouses look ordinary. What makes this aircraft so special that it costs more than entire neighborhoods in Jakarta? The Boeing Business Jet serving Indonesia isn't just transportation. It's a statement of power wrapped in titanium and gold. And what happens inside will blow your mind. This flying fortress spans 3,400 square feet of pure luxury, which is roughly the size of a massive suburban home, except this one travels at 550 miles per hour. The jet features handcrafted Italian leather seats that cost more than luxury sports cars. But what really sets this jet apart is its fuel capacity. It can fly non-stop from Jakarta to Los Angeles, covering 9,250 miles without refueling, which is absolutely mind-boggling. The annual maintenance cost alone reaches $12 million, which could feed 50,000 Indonesian families for a year. France's Airbus, $200 million. The French have always understood luxury. But their presidential Airbus takes sophistication to levels that would make Louis XIV jealous. What could possibly justify spending $200 million on a single aircraft when France could buy 40 fighter jets instead? This Airbus A330-200 isn't just France's presidential transport. It's a flying testament to French engineering excellence that redefines what's possible at 43,000 feet. The aircraft stretches 209 feet long, featuring a wingspan wider than most commercial buildings are tall, and the interior was designed by the same team that creates interiors for French chateaux. Here's something wild. The conference room aboard can seat 60 people comfortably and features holographic display technology that projects 3D maps and strategic information in mid-air. The bedroom suite features silk sheets woven specifically for this aircraft. Operating this beast costs France 21,000 per hour of flight time, which means a trip from Paris to Tokyo costs approximately 280,000 in operational expenses alone. South Korea's Boeing 747-8i, $400 million. South Korea's technological prowess meets luxury aviation in a $400 million flying command center that makes science fiction look outdated. Why would South Korea spend enough money to build 3 hospitals on a single airplane? The answer lies in what this Boeing 747-8i represents. It's not just presidential transportation, it's a mobile fortress equipped with technology that could run an entire country from 45,000 feet. This beast measures 250 feet in length, making it longer than the Wright brothers' first flight distance, and it weighs 487,000 pounds fully loaded. That's equivalent to 60 elephants. Bangladesh's Boeing 777-300ER, $260 million. Bangladesh surprised the world when they unveiled their $260 million Boeing 777-300ER, proving that emerging economies take presidential security seriously. How does a developing nation justify spending $250 million on an airplane? The answer becomes clear when you understand what this aircraft represents. It's Bangladesh's declaration that their leader deserves world-class protection and luxury. This twin-engine marvel stretches 242 feet, powered by engines that each generate 115,000 pounds of thrust, enough power to launch a small building into the sky. The interior features hand-painted murals depicting Bangladesh's independence struggle, with artwork valued at $890,000, created by the nation's most celebrated artists over 14 months. But here's the crazy part. The aircraft's range exceeds 11,000 miles, meaning the president could fly from Dhaka to Buenos Aires without stopping, crossing 12 time zones in comfort. The defensive countermeasures include chaff dispensers that release 150 million tiny aluminum strips to confuse radar-guided missiles, creating a cloud visible from the ground. Operating costs reach $1,400 per flight hour, meaning a simple trip from Dhaka to Delhi costs $64,000.